Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another
Best
episode.
picture you could find?
I'm gonna try to look for one on the fly here. Anyway, I am Phil. Joining me, as always, fan of fine cinema. It is
Lilith Hellfire. I mean, I can't talk. I like the Fast and Furious franchise.
family.
Well, modern day pirates, but yeah.
Or
Which pirates were kind of prequel family, if you know the history about pirates. So, anyway. This movie doesn't have pirates, but it does have magic.
does what?
Magic.
Yeah, it's
We'll get there. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched this movie since the 80s, and I didn't know what was going on, and I figured, okay, I was a child, maybe it was over my head. It's still kind of...
No, it wasn't over your head. It was in the toilet. But we do have to start off this episode with a little bit of sad news. Jano Sawak, the director, also known for Jaws 2 and Santa Claus the movie. No, not that Santa Claus movie, the British one. He passed away in January. 2025 got his ass.
Oh, wow,
Yikes.
just this year. Oh, yeah, everybody's, yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, he was old though, so
Oh.
I think it was expected. He kind of always kind of been off and on frail health, but he was born like 1937. Jeez Louise, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is the leading cause of death. Time.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah.
88, man.
Yeah, imagine. You've seen some stuff.
Yeah, he was French, so,
Oh, wow. So was this, I don't know. This was a whole different like studio and everybody who did like who did the Superman movies, right?
Yeah, for some random reason. It was like TriStar Pictures, which is like Columbia, which is Sony.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a cross production with Warner distributors from the United Kingdom because it's like technically a British movie for some random freaking reason. They just love it.
I guess. Jeez.
Yeah, it was so weird because it was like released over there first, and yikes! It's just the making of this movie was, to quote one of my favorite YouTube channels, it was a shit show.
Oh my god!
And it's like they couldn't even get Christopher Reeve to show up for the cameo. It was like just a mess. And you have to remember that technically it's set after the events of like Superman 3, and it's a spinoff from specifically Superman 3. Then it starts to make a little bit more sense.
Ugh, yeah.
And like the only person that shows up is Mark McClure as Jimmy Olsen, and it's like, oh, they got one thing right. Thank you.
I mean, he really wasn't even part of the main adventure. It's just like, oh hey.
At least he reprised his role. At least we can say that. And this cast is like, I love Faye Dunaway, Peter O'Toole, Mia Farrow. I mean, we have Simon Ward, David Healy, just some like really, if you're from the 80s and like 70s and 60s, you'll know these names,
Yeah.
And like some cast, you're like, oh, Mia Farrow, cool. You're like, Peter O'Toole. Oh, they went and drug poor Peter O'Toole into this, didn't
they? Yes, they did.
I love the explanation of like Superman's non-appearance via news broadcast, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, after Superman 3, I mean, it wasn't definitive we were getting a 4, right?
Right, definitely.
Like they had to work.
But the only reason why we got 4 is because they caved into Christopher Reeve's every demand, and as I like Superman 4 because I feel like it puts a cap on the end of it after like all the garbage that was 3 and all the drama from like 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that like I have like personal reasons. Like I said, like Christopher Reeves obviously says that it was his favorite one and he had fun making it and he got to reunite with the people that made the film, what it was. So he didn't really like the treatment of everybody. So it's kind of like it was kind of let's just be real. It was like a passion project. It was a fluff piece. It's a little bit of a flop, but I like it for the emotional resonance that it has with me from all the things that I know about the drama of just making Superman movies in general. It's almost like it's cursed. If you know, you know. It seems like a cursed franchise, but it's Superman, It's, well, in this case, it's Supergirl. So she didn't go unscathed either.
I mean, it almost seems like, don't you think they were just like, oh, we might not be getting any more Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Let's try to get Supergirl up and running.
Yeah, and so when you realize why he doesn't make the cameo, right? Because it's a spinoff from 3, his least favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had beef with those people till the day he died. No joke. You ask his wife, you can ask, well, you can't ask his wife anymore, but you can ask his kids, and yeah. So it's just like, so everybody's like, oh, 3 is better than 4. I'm like, well, I guess that's a matter of opinion for me, but I'll tell you what, you know what? Supergirl is better than Superman 3 to me. I'll say it for me personally, it's better. I mean, I don't know. It's just they're trying. They're not like doing it successfully, but like it's an earnest attempt, and that's what's so sad to me. I guess the potential of what could be.
Yeah, I mean,
and I love Helen Slater and everything else. That's the crazy thing. Like I thought that this was pretty cool casting.
Oh yeah. I mean, I could definitely watch this movie with the sound off.
She was like a singer-songwriter before like really people knew of her. And like I said, all the movies that she did after this, like The Legend of Billie Jean, you got City Slickers. I think people probably wouldn't know Chantilly Lace. She was also in the Lassie movie. She was the voice of Talia al Ghul in the Batman animated series, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, no, the problem wasn't her. No,
a lot of people actually blamed her.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like this in Tangrel. Oh, women can't lead superhero movies. No, how about it's kind of like girl video games like back in like the 80s and 90s. It was like, oh, it's for girls. We're not going to put any effort in it. And if you don't put effort in it, how do you expect anybody to A, take it seriously, and B, want to spend their money? Just because it's for a set demographic, we still like nice things. And it's not until like literally like 2025 the girls get an actual game that they deserve. Shout out to Nikki Infinity. Like we're learning now, like, hey, girls actually like to spend money. We're very loyal, brand loyal, as cringe as it is. So it's just like they realized it a little too late. But yeah, it's just such a shame that this movie could have been so cool. Like I actually remember having some Supergirl merch. I had some coloring books. The merch is super hard to find.
I was gonna say there was merch for this.
And like this is like from when I was a kid, so like this was like I'm talking like at the dollar store 10 years later, But there was merch, and I'm sure if you try hard enough and find like a dead stock store, you will find probably like 18 warehouses full of like ET, Atari video games, and this movie merch. It's kind of like Eternals merch, I think, at this point, to put it in like a modern thing. By the time like really it even caught on, people even knew what it was. Like I said, they released it in the UK, like I want to say like 5 months before this, and it had already been nominated for a Golden Raspberry before it even premiered in the States. It's just a whole thing, and it's just kind of sad.
Oh.
And like they had, honestly, my personal opinion from everything that I know about the behind the scenes that I've pieced together is that they were really pinning their hopes on that Christopher Reeve cameo to legitimize the movie. And when he didn't, it kind of fell apart, and they kind of just from there. So yeah.
Well, the whole story is just weird to me. I'm just like, so Argo City, are they? I mean, because she knows all about Superman and Clark. So, are they watching him from afar, or are they in communication with him? And if so, why isn't he trying to bring them to Earth or something? Because they're living in a giant balloon.
Well, after the Phantom Zone, do you really want to trust another city?
Oh, true.
That was my personal take on it.
I guess, yeah.
As a kid, I was just like, yeah, I get it.
Or take him to a planet with a red sun. I don't know, but I mean, he does have family in there.
Allegedly, for all he knows, allegedly. It could be a scam. It could be the Nigerian prince scam. We don't know. You hope for the best and prepare for the worst, because because Superman was a little naive in that movie. I ain't gonna lie. The first movie, he's a little green.
Oh my.
So I can appreciate it. As a very distrustful human being.
Yeah, there's just a lot about these. And then this movie reminded me of like those 80s like fantasy movies or whatever.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have just had a unicorn, and then I think that would have made it better. Like, I think they didn't know what audience they wanted to go for. And honestly, I think if they would have shot for like young girls, I'm talking like Jim the Holograms vibes, this movie would have been a banger. But they like tried to like ride the fence, and it's like they tried to make it like adult, and then they like tried to do like too much like fantasy that like really wasn't the norm for like people and specifically in 1984, especially with a female led movie. It's just like, what were you expecting? You didn't make her the horse girl that she is. Literally canon that she's a horse girl. So it's like, even Smallville got that right. So what's your excuse?
Yeah, it almost seems like they just took a bunch of genres, bunch of ideas, and just threw them in a bucket
together. Yeah. And like the MacGuffin of it, the Omegahedron, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you doing?
And I'm like, how? Like, did she just fly home? Because I'm like, didn't she need a ship to get here last time?
She's been charging into that sun, baby. She don't need nothing now.
I guess, yeah. And they're just floating around space, I guess. And
the fact that she makes friends with Lucy Lane, and I'm just like, and they have that stupid poster. And Linda Lee is the cover identity. I just, oh my god, it gets me every time, bro. I'm just like, you tried it.
I know, she just happens to run into Lucy Lane's cousin when she goes. I'm like, isn't your city dying? But you're taking the time to set up a secret identity.
The school groundskeeper, Ethan.
Oh
my goodness, it's just a mess. It's like, oh, and this is what I mean, like the kind of like slop that I prefer this slop to AI slop. Don't get me wrong, like corporate, like algorithm generated slop, but man, I'm like, I'm like really looking forward to James Gunn, because like I think that Supergirl is a very interesting character in her own right, and I think that like Smallville like unfortunately didn't give the time and breadth and depth that it needed, but they tried and they did understand the character, and that's really all that you could hope for. I feel like the Supergirl TV show was a little bit of a detriment to the character, because she was literally just Felicity in a cape, and that is not Supergirl. I thought the actress was perfect. I think Melissa Benoist is like a puppy in human form was just like such a great choice. And also she could sing much like in the tradition of Helen Slater. And I thought that was super interesting that they went with her. And I was like, I see the vibes, but you're kind of like still missing the point of Supergirl. She's really a super tragic figure. And the way that like Superman kind of like pawns her off onto this other family. He doesn't even bother to raise her in the accepted canon of modern day. And it's just like, like, damn, my cousin doesn't even want, I came here for you, bitch. Like, it's so sad. And she's like always in his shadow, and she's never good enough, and those whole things. And it's just like, you wasted it with Ethan and magic.
I'm like, did we even get an explanation of like, they survived Krypton's destruction and stuff? And
well, it's the point that it's a pocket trans-dimensional space, the inner space.
Yeah.
It's a bunker. Let's be real. It's a Kryptonian bunker. The Doomsday Preppers, and this is why it pays to be prepared. I think that's also one of the messages that I learned as a small child watching this.
Oh my lord! And the groundskeeper was Hart Bachner. Oh my god!
Yes.
Tell them where their detonators are at, Johnny.
Oh my god! Like, I was just like, we could. I'm sorry, but like we could have done a little bit better. No tea, no shade. Like, it was just such an odd like mashup.
No offense to Helen Slater or anything, but okay. I was thinking like I could watch this movie with the sound off, as you said.
No.
Turn the sound off and tell me that you couldn't mistake this for a porn parody with no sex.
No. I know porn parodies. Not even. This is like one of those not another teen movie parody movies. The worst kind of parody. Porn parody is acceptable.
Oh my god, you said she could sing and stuff. What was that strange noise every time she like flew? She took it off of the ground like
Cause she's a girl. She can't have like super thunderous takeoffs,
Oh, okay.
It has to be dainty and petite.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Ugh, 80s baby, but goddamn, I'm glad I'm a 90s girl.
Yeah, yeah.
And Zoltar, like that's just like a terrible generic wizard name too.
Yes, exactly. I was like, that's a like a wizard name. I'm like, that's no.
It's just like babes. Girls don't like math. That much we know. So like, why are you bringing geometry into this? You're just flop. I mean, if you're gonna go by your own stereotypes, you're just flopping right now. Literally, everybody just Omega. What? No.
I'm like, is he Kryptonian? I'm like, that ain't no damn Kryptonian name.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. The one thing I think Krypton got right is that society was a mess and they had enemies everywhere. Which, listen, this is why like I give Bendis such shit for Rogozar because like, yeah, you're onto something, but the execution of that fucking idea was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. Supergirl levels of awful. He should be ashamed and feel bad. And I will say that every chance that I get. Like the other stuff he did, just keep your hands off my Superman.
Oh, damn.
And then Selena shows up, and I'm just like, okay, a power-hungry witch. We literally have witches in DC canon, but sure, let's make up a character. Cool, badass witches.
Well, Gina Hackman was a
And then there's Bianca. Oh, is that not the classic 80s fucking name?
Oh,
doesn't she just seem like a rich girl that we be dating like I don't know, dating freaking one of the freaking Sheen brothers in like a 80s John Hughes movie? Like, come on.
Yes.
Fun fact, Demi Moore and Brooke Shields auditioned for this role.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I find that super interesting. I think Brooke Shields would have been kind of a fun choice, but she's kind of marred in controversy and, that whole thing. But like, I think that would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we wanted like a nobody gets between me and my Calvins kind of controversy on this one. They're really trying to go for like this wholesome thing, but like it's a little scary as a kid. Like the magic sequences are a little scary.
Oh yeah, and then that thing the Omega Hedron's in, I'm like, wait a minute, so is this a magic rock? Because this power source isn't supposed to be magic, right?
Yeah. It's all confusing.
And that creature at the end, that's kind of scary if you're a kid.
Yeah. And then it's when Kara shows up, she's granted new powers, and I'm just like, oh, this would have been cool. But like the sequence was like, the montage sequence. I was just almost gonna be like, let's get physical. It's worse than the Supergirl montage from CBS era. Oh my god.
And it's like just like with the Reeve movies, it's like, what's that power? What is she doing? Because again, she like just comes to Earth, sees the girls, alters her appearance, the clothes, makes her hair darker. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. All girls school. Mm-mm.
Oh my.
Interesting choice there.
Well, again, I mean, how old was she supposed?
And it's really just a love triangle because Ethan catches the eye of Selena and she drugs him with a love potion. I'm like, we got roofies. Oh my god.
Which so yeah, he's supposed to fall in love with the first woman he sees, and then he ends up seeing.
I'm like, what is this? The Little Mermaid? Well, actually, maybe the Little Mermaid stole it from this. I don't know. Knowing Disney.
I mean, you think about it too. I mean, they really never addressed that at the end. It's like, oh, I fell in love with her, but then she just leaves. So it was like his brain just like cracking because she's gone.
Almost reminds me of Wonder Woman
1984. Supergirl in 1984.
Oh man.
Conspiracy
opportunity. See, that's the shit that I'm talking about. Like you name it literally that, and then you don't do anything with it.
Oh.
So random.
Oh my god. Yeah, I could have some quick news
and
report.
So basically it's just Supergirl and Selena fighting over a boy. Like, ew. Ew.
And she what?
Or she's an earthling. What are you gonna destroy her? She's able to have her cornbread in a Kryptonian prison.
Oh, jeez.
That was the craziest thing to me.
Yeah, again, it's like Supergirl's supposed to be like a teenage girl, right? Because she's in that school and everything. But so I'm like, so this
she was undercover as a teenage girl, but it gives me the vibes of that Not Another Teen movie parody where the old lady got the dentures.
Well, that's the thing. Helen Slater, like I don't think she looked like a teenager, but
nobody did though. And it's like, ew, like nobody's gonna tell on the groundskeeper. Girl, if an older man comes and tries to get with you, tell on him. Mm-hmm. Tell on him. He's a creep.
And again, I was like, is she supposed to be a teenage girl? Then like her and a grown woman are fighting over a man? I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, the morals of these stories, the implications are just absolutely icky.
Oh, when she first came to town, those two guys were like trying to. God, I was like, are they going to try to rape her?
I know the 80s were like grapey, but god damn. Like just out in the open in like a Superman family movie. Like,
I mean, the first 10 seconds are like trying to lift up her skirt and stuff. Like, jeez.
See, and that is why I agree with Supergirl wearing tights in the Arrowverse. Listen, I never had beef with it.
She heard about all of her.
Exactly.
Yeah, lots of rapey vibes in.
Like, it's just like rewatching this was like, oh, I got even more beef with this than possible. Now, I want to talk about the budget real quick. Because like the budget was $35 million and it made 14.3 at the box office, and I'm sure they didn't even bother with marketing for this movie because I've literally never seen promotional material for this movie ever. I'm talking not a poster, not a T-shirt, not a postcard.
I've seen online. I think there's a poster, but yeah, I've never seen the poster in the wild or anything. No.
And I've seen old Superman movie posters like in like estates and stuff. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was a kid and finding it, I'm like literally like 10 years removed, and I'm finding dead stock of Supergirl stuff. So,
I mean, I was 6 when this movie came out. I don't remember seeing a toy, a poster, nothing.
Yeah, I've never seen a Supergirl toy. Not that I've ever really been inclined, but like, just in general, when you like Google or you're on eBay or one of those other sites and you look up Superman stuff, you usually get like related searches. And I don't think they've ever suggested Supergirl 1984 stuff to me ever.
I thought if it was like just a given, if it was like a movie, like a superhero movie or something like this, they would try to,
Well, the fact that it was a spinoff from the Superman franchise, I thought that they would try a little harder, but
or just like
it's a generic, just for girls,
or just like a generic line where they put out like a more Superman stuff and Supergirl's in there.
Like, just slap Barbie in a cape and call it done, bro. Which eventually they do in the 90s, ironically enough. And I have her, Wonder Woman, and Batgirl, that whole trio set, which is pretty awesome.
Of course you do. Although 1984, I'm trying to remember, like that was like, I think that was like where the toy blitz.
Yeah, we were literally in the boom of making money from kids.
Transformers, G.I. Joe, all that stuff.
I mean, just cereal commercials during said Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Saturday morning cartoons, man. I mean, you could have put commercials up for Supergirl toys like every half hour or something.
Let me. I'm just gonna try in an incognito. If you don't give me anything.
Where's she looking up porn? No, Supergirl toy.
Exactly.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, it's just really curious to me. This whole like, who was this for? Oh wow. The DVD is like $4 free delivery.
Oh jeez. I mean it's on Max right now, so. Yeah, because
the soundtrack was pretty cool to me. Now the soundtrack is $50. God, it must be super rare.
Oh man, what's that, on cassette or something?
No, it's on CD.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, CDs were like a thing in the 80s. It just wasn't as common. It was still like super expensive. It's kind of like people who like had like laser discs, like early adapters of laser discs. It's a little upfront, but the cost will come down eventually, and you'll be the coolest kid on the block with all the stuff that your friends don't have.
Oh yeah, the rich girl over here. Yeah, I don't remember like actually seeing a CD till like the late 80s. Yeah.
Nah, because my mom had what was it, Thriller on CD, I think.
Oh, really?
Re-release or anything like that. But she also had the album too, so.
Yeah. But no, like I said,
here go the coloring books that I used to have. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't remember seeing anything. I
this poster's awful. No wonder we haven't seen it.
I don't know if it's the one I've seen. Yeah, it's kind of like a artist rendition or something. It's not actual like photo.
She's
Her
like flying and using her magic that she doesn't have. It's like literally quite the opposite. Okay, there's the activity book that I had, and that about it. The sticker book, yep. Okay, that about it. Oh, the Topps card. I missed those. I remember we had like collector's cards for everything, bro. I missed that era.
Oh, you know what you could have run into in this movie, which is like a dangling plot point from Superman 3? Where'd that black
Superman?
that too, but where'd that black kryptonite go?
Don't you worry your pretty head about that.
I'm saying
they didn't even really like get into her power set or anything. And like literally she gets powerless like like really late in the movie, and it's just like, okay.
Oh yeah, because of the Phantom Zone. So now we're banishing people to the Phantom Zone with magic.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what is going on here? That's not how any of this works.
I mean, I guess maybe that demon thing told her, but I'm like, how
and
does
he sacrifices himself to help her escape? Why? Because convenient plot point is convenient.
I guess because he got banished to the Phantom Zone.
And oh my God, the evil woman makes herself a princess and gives herself a lover consort. And I'm just like, oh my God, please make it stop. and it's like truly, like literally, she comes from the Phantom Zone through a mirror. This is not a fairy tale. Like, go tell that story somewhere else.
I know. And I'm like, how does Selene even know?
And a shadow demon? Like, what is going on? And like, why does Zotok care? Like, why? He's like, you must fight. And I'm like, bro, didn't you cause all this technically? Like,
giving supposedly a child a loaded weapon.
Exactly.
Maybe he was trying to creep on her. I don't know.
I think everybody was creeping on everybody in this movie. And then Bianca gets pulled. She's just like, why were we bothering Bianca?
I know, the sidekick. I know. It's just like, okay.
It's like, even though he was free from Selena's spell, I'm just like, babes, you're still under a spell. Like, I don't know how to tell you.
Bianca was like a mix of like Miss Tessmacher and Otis. That's just like,
yeah, okay. It's just like, oh, go away. And then he's like, I know you and Supergirl. I'm like, nobody can know my secret. Snap. That would have made the movie a million times better.
I mean,
like, you see what these humans have done. Like, no, there's no fucking way you're knowing my secret, bud.
I know. Well, like earlier in the movie, like she knew, like Supergirl knew he was like under some kind of spell or whatever. But but once he kisses her, she's like, "Oh, okay, let's see." Even though he's
let's see where this goes. Hold on, I was a little rash.
I know you've been roofied, but let's see where this goes.
The 80s.
Bill Cosby's playground.
Exactly. Well, him and Hef. Let's not forget Hugh Hefner.
Yes.
Had them girls basically living in a literal kitty litter box. Like, we were okay
with it. They had to like clock back in when they came home.
Crazy.
But yeah, that first scene in Argo, like, were they? Because at first I was like, wait, how old is she supposed to be? Because they didn't seem like they were trying to paint her as pretty young.
Yeah, it just wasn't like listen, I am a 90210 Beverly Hills OG fan, and that still didn't go with me. Okay. That Demi Moore also cast for Lucy Lane, and she got hired, but she went to go film Blame It on Rio or whatever. So I would have loved that. Like, that makes sense to me. That would have been solid casting.
I mean, looking at the person they cast, I'm like, were they trying to get someone who looked closer to Margot Kidder? Is that what they were doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I saw her face, I was like, okay, they're going for a Margot Kidder. I get that.
Yeah, like, but I'm gonna tell you, they also offered Dolly Parton the role of Selena, and then Faye Dunaway got it. I'm like, what the?
Well, guess they're like, oh, okay, I don't know about this story, but let's dress this up.
Something. But to Mark McClure because he's the only person that ever showed up in all 5 of these Superman related movies. So there's that. He's basically the David Dastmalchian of the 80s in DC movies.
I mean, like 3, they didn't have huge parts, but I mean, Perry and Lois did show up in 3, not for long, but they did.
So that's kind of like a cool little claim to fame there.
Exactly.
I don't know, like I did an edible to watch this movie and it still wasn't good, so it's bad. Like I think I just because I know like the potential that this movie could have had, and it's just such a shame that it wasn't a spinoff from 2. Like
Yeah.
I think that I think Donner could have done something with this a little bit better, but I get it. The Donner drama is in of its own self, literally its own documentary.
Well, yeah.
So
and how many
damn cell kinds.
And how many product placements were probably in the background as she was stopping that construction equipment? Would seem to take her a while to
Still
stop.
not as bad. Still not as bad as some of the stuff I seen in the 80s. I mean, like, we could have had Wendy's. We could have like a girl power thing. They just missed out on so much. Like, looking at this movie, like, I literally can rewrite this movie in my sleep. Slightly inebriated and come up with better concepts. But it's because I know the character and I actually used to like the character until like this really downward tragic spiral that her and Power Girl got into.
Yeah.
There can only be one mentality and it just sucks.
Okay, I was curious, so I just looked it up how old Helen Slater was for this movie. 21, so.
Well, the 80s 21's like 40, bro.
Well, yeah.
Like, y'all, we didn't start drinking water till the 90s. That's why. No, literally, that's my theory about why everybody looks so old. They were dehydrated, bro.
I mean, she didn't even look old, but it was like, I was like, I could tell she's older than a teenager, but she does. I mean, she looks her age in this movie.
Yeah, like, but trying to pass her off as a teenager.
Yeah.
In an all-girls school,
again,
it was so off-putting.
But that's all they did in the 80s is they got people in their 20s to play teenagers.
Yeah, but I don't know. This one just stood out to me. And I'm like, listen, I'm not saying she looked bad, but I was just like, yeah, she's definitely not 16 to be acting this dumb. Sorry, doe-eyed bimbo. No. I don't like it.
No, I could tell. Like, I mean, again, she is very attractive, but yeah, she did look her 21 here.
Yeah. Again, 80s 21. She should have been at Beverly Hills High, basically.
Again, I could watch this with the sound off, but yeah.
This is so many interesting artistic choices that just piss me off. Like the ending of the movie is like, okay, Argo City just lights up again. That's the end of the fucking movie, really, bro?
The end of the movie gave me Poochie went back to his home planet vibes.
Exactly, and we never saw her again. Literally,
I'm like, no, not. You can't give us 30 seconds of her getting back to Argo City and everyone cheering and everything. No.
They're out of budget.
Maybe, yeah.
No, yeah. This movie, literally, the studio didn't give them anything. The producers had to do all of it, and yeah, so they lost a shit ton of money. But again, it's like you fundamentally misunderstood the source material. Did you even try to get into the source material? Oh, she's his cousin, and that's all that they got right.
Exactly.
Wild stuff.
And well, it's like sometimes with the Reeve movies, I feel that way too. But it was like when he's like shooting laser beams out of his finger. I'm like, where did that come from?
The old John Byrne method. I'll just make it up because it's cool.
Oh, is that how he shaved in those movies? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. No 5 o'clock shadow for him, bitches. He's a clean cut Kansas boy. See.
I mean,
I'm gonna give this movie a straight up D's and dog shit minus.
Oh.
At least they tried with the music. I will say that the score is pretty cool. So.
Oh, okay.
That's what saves it is the music. It still has like a hopeful note, and they, like I said, like in the beginning they tried, and then like all their plans just kind of fell to the wayside, and they just stopped trying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is the soundtrack just the
It's just Jerry Goldsmith's like
okay.
the score and stuff like that, original scores and stuff like that.
I didn't know if it was like sometimes it was 1984. They could have had there's not like a Boy George song or anything on it.
No. It's pretty long though.
How many times has she said that in her life?
They did a re-release for some random reason in '93, and I don't know why.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they buried this since the '80s, and it just came out recently. Because I don't remember seeing this until recently.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you think were there rights issues too? Maybe.
I would imagine so. Because we didn't see Supergirl for a really long, like literally until like what DC Infinite came out. We had finally gotten like an easy way to watch Supergirl. That was like
I don't even think it was on there when DC Infinite first came out. I think they just added that.
It was like right before the Warner Brother Discovery merger is when I saw it show up, and then it changed into HBO Max, and now it's Max. Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't know. And I think it was only because they really tried because like the Supergirl TV show was more successful than this, and so we're gonna plumb everything we have because we need to make it look good to the investors and stuff. So
I feel bad for Helen Slater. She showed up on that show from time to time, and it's like, oh, this is what a successful Supergirl vehicle is.
More successful.
Well, yeah, more success. Yeah, I mean they did get a couple seasons out of that show.
I mean, because it was. The Arrowverse had to stay on CBS,
not
so much, as we all know. So it's like, yeah, successful on CW doesn't really mean much. I mean, Supernatural went for 15 fucking seasons. And listen, I love Supernatural. Don't get me wrong.
What show goes for 15 seasons, Lilith?
Well, I mean, Smallville could have if Tom would have. Never mind. Anyway. Not bitter at all. Now you're begging for a revival.
Oh God!
I can say that.
We're gonna have to do a Smallville's episode. Okay.
Episode? That's plural, Phil.
Oh yeah.
The making of Smallville was a shit. If you know, you know.
That's right.
Yeah. What would you give this movie since you're way nicer than me?
I'm the nice one, and yeah, I'd probably give it you gave it a minus, but I'd probably give it a D. Just
a gentleman's D.
I give this a gentleman's D.
Dare I say a double D?
Whoa!
I would love, like I said, I'm interested to see what James Gunn's interpretation of this is. But I mean, and it's gonna be kind of right after the Superman movie, so I really don't know how I feel about that.
And aren't we getting Momoa as Lobo?
I mean, the role that he was originally pegged for, yes. Oh, I said pegged. My bad.
He was pegged.
If you know, no, I'm kidding. Allegedly.
Hollywood.
Okay, we get it.
Yeah, because aren't we aren't they adapting what is that? The Supergirl World or Girl of Tomorrow miniseries or whatever from a few years back?
Yeah, it's like, ooh, you're picking from modern Supergirl, so
yeah.
Oopsie.
Oh, you know what? You know what else this movie was missing? She should have been wearing that red headband. It was 1984.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Again, 1984. We
don't want to give Rambo.
I guess, but 1984, it wouldn't look that out of place. And again, I think she was probably wearing that by now in the comics. So it was just like
they hadn't read a single fucking comic. And
yeah.
Again, Warner Bros. Was very hands off on this, and quite honestly, kind of a little bit out of touch on the Superman movies too, as time went on. Clearly, so yeah, it's just kind of one of those unfortunate things, and until Captain Marvel, which is bolstered up by the MCU and her allegedly making a good contribution, I don't count that movie. Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie. That's a female-led superhero movie. Sorry, Captain Marvel fans. Not to poop on your parade. It was inflated and get cheated.
No, oh my.
Wonder Woman is still the best movie in the Snyderverse.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just saying, nobody says it about the Captain Marvel movie.
I mean, yeah, no, remember, I mean, everyone was saying it. It's just like, that's the Snyderverse. The first Wonder Woman movie was carrying it on her back, and then she dropped it.
Which was, I mean, it had the odds against her. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not a fan of Gal Gadot, so.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot for me. It takes a lot for me to say that. But that's just how bad the Snyderverse was.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, the bar was low in the Snyderverse.
The bar was past hell.
Why'd
you the molten core of the earth, bro.
Why'd you say that name?
Oh, don't. I'm getting flashbacks. I'm getting heart palpitations.
I know.
All right, so that's it for the movie review. If you guys have ever watched Supergirl, let us know your comments. How do you feel? Were we being too harsh or too easy on her, or just right?
I could have bumped my grade to a C- for that headband. Come on.
I mean, if she just seemed like she bungled her way through. She was just so kind of incompetent and just, I'm just a pretty lost girl act, Like that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Again, yeah, they should have given her own. I mean, they could have did more with Lucy and stuff. Given her own little sidekick to, kind of help her through Earth culture, I guess. But
yeah, like they just weren't interested in actually telling a thought out story. Because again, it's only for girls. Let's make it a love triangle. Let's make it a cat fight, Jerry. Like just classic 80s garbage nonsense.
Again, a supposed teenage girl and a grown woman fighting over a man. It's just like, ew.
Yeah, just ugh. And she turns herself into a like. I just can't get over how like stereotypical it was.
But yeah, speaking of Wonder Woman, stay tuned here in a few weeks, kids. We're going to be doing some Linda Carter Wonder Woman. So,
yay! Now that's a TV show. That's a female-led superhero TV show, and I have been begging for them to reboot. Not you, Adrian Palicki. I'm sorry. We're not talking about you.
Oh my!
I read a script called Amazon, and I guess they probably couldn't have called it that in retrospect. They would have to change it to something else. But it was so good. And like certain shows got picked up over it. And I've always been better.
Oh my.
So yeah. Yeah, not happy. Oh, but I do want to quickly shout out two things.
Okay.
That are DC comic book related this week. The Flash and Sonic the Hedgehog get the face off, bitches. We got DC Times Sonic the Hedgehog #1 out. So excited.
Oh my.
Listen, I'm not like a Sega fan, but I'm gonna tell you what, those Sonic the Hedgehog movies are pretty damn good.
Really?
They're cranking them out and they're still good. I think it's the best video game movie adaptation ever. I think that's pretty solid, safe thing to say. And they listened to their fans and they redesigned it and they didn't push out garbage. So looking at you, Shrek, the new Shrek movie, you better fix that shit. Shrek fans will not stand for it. You will flop. You will be It's Morbin time if you don't fix that. Don't be Sony. Don't be stupid. Like when Disney bought Shrek, I just knew it. I just knew they were gonna fuck it up. I just knew it. So it's like watch your P's and Q's.
Whoa!
Don't mess with the Shrek fans.
Jeez.
And then my second one is obviously Zatanna #2.
Yeah.
I think this was most people's favorite DC book this week.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Week. I heard a lot of chatter, a lot of buzz on the interwebs. Shout out to Jamal Campbell. Like I said, I was kind of like, okay. Like the first one, I was just like, okay, we're doing some setup, pretty cool. But this one, I'm just like, okay, Cursed Sword, let's do this.
Got Blue Devil. Yeah, we're really firing all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're not holding back. We're just jumping in. He's like, get on board or get left behind. We're doing this.
Because the Black Label stuff was good, but here, I mean, we're really doing it. Like
I feel like this is a little more risque than the Black Label.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're doing deep dive on like the magical side of the DC universe. Yeah,
like I said, just jumped right in. So, well, if you don't know, now you know. Hey, Wiki's free, Google's free for now.
Exactly.
He's like, you better get into it, and I just kind of love that. Like, he's not holding our hand. He's just, if you're reading Zatanna, he's just kind of expecting you're a fan of Zatanna.
Exactly.
I like that a lot.
Oh yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that was the only two things I really wanted to mention that are kind of relevant to what we do on Unlimited Justice.
Okay. So yeah,
I
so
mean,
next,
unless you want to talk Catwoman, but we could probably save that for
maybe we can say that. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, kids. So yeah, well, next few weeks, you're going to be getting some Salty and Petties, and again, well, I don't think we announced this yet, but
we
yes,
have a restructuring going on right now.
yes. Again, it's basically going to be you're going to get Salty and Petty 3 times a month, and then you're going to get a new show. It's kind of in the spirit of Unlimited Justice, but it's going to be more of focused on the new comics coming out. So pretty much, if you want
We're still workshopping titles, so
yes,
stay tuned.
Who wants a no prize for giving us a title?
I still like mine, and then you can just do :DC Comics, :Marvel Comics.
What is it? Wait, what was yours?
Baby Got Rex.
Okay.
And then just :DC Weekly Pool List or Spinners or whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Because it'll be on brand.
Okay, that makes sense. Nobody puts babies racks in a corner.
Exactly.
Oh,
unless it's consensual.
Yes. All right, but yeah, the next 3 weeks, I still got to pick some episodes, but I think we're finally gonna pull the trigger on some Twilight Zone, classic Twilight Zone.
Good. So it's so funny because right, we have Twilight Zone, and then you have you have Tales from the Crypt, and then you have Black Mirror, right? Things in that tradition. I think it's interesting. I think we should. Let me see when Black Mirror premieres, because Black Mirror is pretty much modern day Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
Although the last couple of seasons have been a flop for me.
Oh my.
April 10th. So I think we should definitely we should do the sequel to USS Callister as Star Trek fans. Do you watch Black Mirror at all? Do you know?
I haven't, but I mean, if we want to do it, I can.
Okay, so rule number 1, unless you're an absolute deranged fucking person like me, when you recommend Black Mirror, it is customary to tell people to skip the first episode of the first season.
Oh boy.
You don't even need to watch it.
Oh my.
So I recommend that to everybody unless they're a sick fuck like me. So Phil, if you're gonna start watching Black Mirror, go ahead and skip that first episode.
Okay. Which service is that on?
Netflix.
Okay.
It's the first couple seasons are British sensibility, and then American producers kind of take over, and it gets iffy from there. But there's a ton of good episodes in every single season.
Okay. Yeah, I mean we can do some on that.
But yeah, USS Callister is one of my it's in my top 5. And it's kind of like a Star Trek parody thing, obviously. And so they're doing a sequel to it for this season that's coming out in April. So I think that's probably the one that we should talk about. I think that's probably going to be the one most people are talking about.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
All right.
And I repeat, please don't watch the first episode. And you don't have to watch the first season in order. You really don't have to watch any of the seasons in order. But please, just you won't want to watch the rest of the show if you watch the first episode.
Why,
as the first episode. It
Am I going to look at you a different way if I watch this episode?
Yeah, so when I watched Black Mirror, nobody told me. I was just oh, it's a new show on Netflix and it's British. Okay, cool. It made me laugh, but like I said, I'm a terrible person. And I'm okay with that. And but literally you don't have to watch that first episode, but maybe if you like the series, go back and watch the first episode sometime after you get your bearings in that world. But yeah, I would recommend for you to skip that first episode.
Okay.
I can't stress that enough.
Okay. All right, everyone. So yeah, send us your thoughts on all this upcoming stuff on the DC Comics, on the Supergirl movie. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find pretty much anything we've done at CapesLunatics.wordpress.com. Help support us by buying merch at TeePublic or Spring. And again, if you don't want to be sucked into a magic mirror, yes, by Lilith, Rain ran the money on us through the Cash App link.
It's a gentle suggestion.
And of course, our Patreon, where again me and Lilith give you exclusive, uncensored content every month. And when you are a paying patron subscriber, you can request topics for us to discuss. It doesn't have to be comics; it could be pretty much anything. So, and we've heard how sick Lilith is. So yeah, it could be any topic. So go subscribe now at patreon.com/CapesandLunatics.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
Listen, off air, I will spoil it for you, and I'll let you. You're grown up. I'll let you decide if you want to watch it.
Okay,
I'll spoil it for you.
Okay. All right. I believe this drops March 31st. So Lilith, you want to promote your upcoming appearance?
Oh, yes. If you're in the DC area on April 4th and going to AwesomeCon 2025, please be sure to stop by room 206. I'm doing a panel with author Nick DeWolf. It's called Slaying Stereotypes. It's kind of like a workshop for writers about how to avoid like stereotypes and make your characters feel more real. Yeah, that's at 4 p.m. room 206.
Nice. Yeah, kids, don't have your characters be stereotypical teenage girls in an 84 movie.
Exactly. Maybe we could deconstruct this movie. Like, what do you think they did wrong here? And go.
All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. Again, we'll be getting some salty and petty here for the next 3 weeks or so.
Back to basics.
Twilight Zone.
Really seminal, culturally influenced things, you know? I love Twilight Zone.
We're going to hit some of the big ones.
I mean, yeah, that's cool.
All the time in the world to read. All right.
Oh, it's like my top 20 for sure.
All right, kids, come back next time. Remember to join us. Get some justice.
Unlimited justice and make it outrageous. Like this movie.